Hi and welcome. In this video today I talk about the cameras, lenses and stuff we used for filming Jaworskyj around the world in Germany.
My name is Benjamin Jaworskyj, photographer and adventurer. 10 years ago I started to teach myself photography. Today I travel the world as a professional photographer and filmmaker. Learn from my experiences, mistakes and tips and join me on my photography adventures.
Maybe you've seen the episode already on this YouTube channel, a 50 minutes documentary about my journey from northern Germany to the south, big mountains and also the Baltic Sea. If you haven't seen, check it out. And a lot of people ask me which equipment did you use or your team use and what camera, what lenses and all this stuff I will talk about in this video. First of all, I had 3 camera guys with me, friends of me. Javier Sombremadas, he was filming the first camera and he used a Sony 7S2. And Timothy used the Sony A7S II as well. So both had the same camera, and that was important for me because it's easier to match both of the cameras from the picture profile, from the look and everything when they are the same cameras. Both were full frame. I like the full frame look. I like when there's a lot of blurriness in the image, and also the lenses we are using mostly are full frame lenses. So we filmed on full frame, no APS-C or anything, no super 35mm, and we filmed with both cameras on S-Log2. And maybe you've seen my video about the film settings in the A7S II where I talk about the S-Log and all the other stuff. So everything I talk about in this video, if you haven't seen, I put it in the description, we set there in the camera. So we had, for example, the color profile on Pro and everything. We had a very flat picture profile with S-Log2, but that's more cinematic. We took a lot of effort in the shutter speed and in the cinematic movements as well. That was Timothy's job. So he had a gimbal, and for the gimbal we used the Pilot Fly. It's the H2, it's not the newest version, but it does a pretty good job. There's a video about this gimbal and about cinematic movements on the channel as well, so check it out if you haven't seen. So plenty of videos. It looks something like this. And then the camera comes on top here, and then you can make like nice movements with this thing. When I think about producing an episode or anything or video, I always set first how the look should be and how we are filming. So before we were filming, I said, let's film on an open aperture with the first camera. So Javier was filming on a 50mm 1.4 lens by Sigma. We are filming with this lens right now and the 7S II as well in this setting for the video here now. And he was filming as well with the 85mm 1.4 by Samyang, I think. In English it's Rokinon or something. And Timothy was always filming on 24mm with the 16-35, I don't know where it is actually. Ah, here it is. 16-35mm 4.0. So it was a wider lens for the wider shots, and all the cinematic shots were wider, and he was filming with that, and sometimes with the 24 1.4 by Sigma as well. So it's always depending what you want to show, how it should look like, if there is a blurry background or if there's a fully sharp image, how bright it actually is. So when it's too dark, we can't film with this lens because it's a 4.0, and then we filmed with the 1.4, for example. So it always depended on the situation. We were filming for 6 days, and one of the 6 days we had to film 2 weeks earlier because of some things we had to figure out. We wanted to fly with a hot balloon, but it did not work because of the bad weather. But for that timing, Rico was filming, so he was the third camera guy, but only for 1 day. And he had the total same setting like Javier, so he was doing the Javier job, and Timothy was all the time doing the wide shots. And that's the thing that I can recommend recommend definitely just having people specializing in one thing. So one person only the long shots and only the open aperture shots, and the other person the wider shots. When I did other episodes of around the world, we have, for example, the Australia episode as well in English on this channel, and on my German channel there are 4 other episodes from different countries, or 3 other episodes. There we were filming only with one camera guy. It was all Rico filming, and that was a bit tougher when only one person does all the stuff. For photography, I use the A7R II by Sony, and I have the 16-35mm 2.8 on, but it's an A-mount lens, and I use this now for maybe 4 years or 3 years. It's with an adapter, but it's a very sharp, very heavy and great lens for landscape photography. And sometimes I was photographing with this lens as well, the 16-35 4.0, but because Timothy was filming with this, I could not photograph, obviously, with this lens. Sometimes I as well photograph with a 70-200mm 4.0, and sometimes we filmed with this lens as well. For example, when we want only to film fog in the trees or on the top of the trees, or only a very sharp and very long shot, then we used the 70-200mm, but there were not many shots we used this for, but it's always good to have a longer lens in your camera bag. And this light here, pretty cool thing. I don't know if you actually can see that it's on and off because it's so bright here. That's cool for night shots. We filmed in the Saxon, Switzerland with this thing here at night, or as well on Rügen we filmed with that. So always when it's darker and we have to fill some light, we use that small LED panel. It's working with batteries. It's very mobile, very small, and always good to have it with you. An ND filter, good thing if it's too bright and if you want to have very cinematic shots. Right now, for example, we're filming with a 2/1000th of a shutter because we don't care. It's just a situation where I'm standing, and even if I do like this, nobody will see the fast shutter speed. But when you have movements and stuff, we take care of the shutter speed, and we take the shutter speed rule. You can see it as well in the cinematic settings for the A7S II video, and therefore we're using variable ND filter, so you can change how strong or how soft it is, and then with this actually you can change the shutter speed. It's an 82mm ND filter, and we then use adapters to adapt them on the different lenses, and that's always a good thing that I can recommend when you want to save some money. Just use adapters, then you can use one filter for all the lenses. That little thing here I bought on Amazon, and it's a rig by Newer, and it's not that expensive. It costs something like 90 euro or 100 euro. We have here a follow focus attached, but we did not use that actually, and Javier was always filming with that. He has his own Newer thing, and he built something different. He has something like this here, so it looks something like this, and usually Javier is filming like this. Oh, I'm from Spain, I film like this. Sometimes I film like this, oh, no problem. Sometimes I even film like this. So Javier is very creative, but he does great shots with that, and it's always good to use a shoulder rig because you're more stable and it's not that shaky when you want to change your focus with a longer lens. Then of course batteries, but 3 are not enough. We had like maybe 12 batteries or even 14 batteries with us, and all the camera guys used every day I think 5 batteries, 4 to 5 batteries. I photographed and used 1 to 2 batteries. Then we had making of footage going on, so we had to charge all the batteries like every evening, and that was actually the toughest part with planning, that every battery is charged all the time. And sometimes we even charged in the car that we could charge faster. But that's the good thing about the Sonys. You can just attach a cable and then put it in the plug of your car, and then you can charge your camera in the car. For photography as well, I used a lot of filters. I used ND filters by Forex by Jaworskyj. I used graduated filters. I used polarizers. And I used, of course, a tripod. The other guys did not use a tripod that much. We had a tripod with us, but it was more handheld because Timothy had the pilot fly, so he was very stable on the gimbal, and Javier had the big shoulder rig, so he was stable on the shoulder rig, so we had not to use a tripod very often for filming, but we had 2 tripods as a backup with us, and yeah. Then here's the A6000 with a 12mm Samyang and this little microphone attached, and this is our vlog combo. So I filmed something like this, or Miles was filming with this camera, and there we did the whole making of episodes, but we filmed them only in German. So if you understand German, check them out on my German channel. And in the future, we will do the whole making of stuff as well in English language on this channel, so you can look forward to that. 2 last things. Drone. I used the DJI Mavic for some shots, but then we had drone pilots with us. In each destination in Germany we had different pilots because of logistical things and of licenses and all the stuff. In Germany it's quite complicated right now with flying drones commercially. So we had the Mavic, we had a Phantom 3 I think, we had an Inspire 1, and we had Phantom 3, I think, as well. So 2 Phantom 3, DJI Mavic and an Inspire, with different people and all combined in this video. They filmed on a flat picture profile as well, because that's important to match all the colors afterwards, grading and cutting, and I did all of that stuff. So yeah, I think it worked pretty fine. There were some misunderstandings in the shutter speed, but most of the people won't recognize it in the video. And always important is the sound, and we filmed with 2 different settings. Right now, one setting is the Sennheiser AVX, that's usually in this little bag, and that's just a wireless transmitter for the sound. One is on my body, one is in the camera, and we had a backup scenario, and as well for the interview situations, we had the old Sennheiser G3. I have it now, or G3, I have it now for maybe 4 or 5 years. Still do a good job, but those are automatic and they make a better job, I think, now. And I'm pretty used to the AVX, but those are still great things, and they work with batteries. That's good if you are in a remote place, because batteries usually you can take with you and you can buy somewhere, like everywhere, even at a gas station you can buy batteries. But when those batteries from the AVX break, then you're fucked up. Because you can't buy them anywhere, and they are pretty expensive. One of my AVX was broken, one of the batteries, and those are different batteries, so there's a different battery like in this thing here, and they cost something like 50 euro, and you have to go to a special reseller to buy them. So sometimes it's quite good to have a very old school thing with old batteries with you, just as a backup situation. Quick commercial: if you want to learn more about filmmaking, all the essentials you need to start with filming videos, check out my course learnfromben.com. There's as well a course about cutting everything together, finding the right music and all the good stuff. I hope that I did not forget anything. Those were mostly the stuff we were filming with. If you have any questions, write it in the comments below. If you're interested in more, just write it as well in the comments. Maybe other topics I should talk about in a video. And if you haven't seen the 50-minute documentary about Germany, about me photographing the best landscapes in Germany, then check it out. Link is in the description as well, and I think in the end of the video here somewhere as well. So see you next time. Never forget, sag mal Einstellung, Digga, haut da rein und